monuments and landmarks. A monument is a statue or other structure built in remembrance of a person or an event. How many people have seen a monument of some kind or another in their life? What have you seen?
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. Absolutely. Oh, they have all those statues out in left field. You got K-Line and you got, who is it that's doing the slide? Isn't that Ty Cobb sliding in with his cleats first, trying to take out somebody at the ankles? All right, let's go. A landmark. A landmark. This is going to be an object or a feature of a landscape that is easily recognized. This is an object or a feature of landscape that is easily recognized, and it has some significance. It's not just, hey, see that really big piece of grass out there? It's a really big piece of grass. There is some meaning or significance behind it. Yes. An object or a feature of landscape that is easily recognized and that has some significance. Yes?
Would stores and stuff be landmarks?
Stores? If you're talking about maybe going on a map, like trying to give somebody directions, yes, because it would be some kind of significance as to where things are located. In the traditional sense, though, no. Yes?
Yellowstone Park, was that Yellowstone National Park?
Yellowstone National Park, there's something in Yellowstone National Park that probably gets more credit as being a landmark than anything else. That's okay. Let's say we're going to help figure that out. Old Faithful, the geyser that you can almost set your watch to because every 90 minutes, something like that. I don't know. I was there, and it seemed like I was there a long time, but that's probably because I was 11 years old, and everything seems like it takes forever when you're 11. Let's see. Next, we're going to have the word collaboration. Collaboration. C-O-L-L-A-B-O-R-A-T-I-O-N. Collaboration. That is the act of working together to achieve a goal. The act of working together to achieve a goal. And the last word that I want you to kind of know here is funding. Funding. That's basically how they're getting the money. Yes?
How do you spell the other word again?
C-O-L-L-A-B-O-R-A-T-I-O-N.
And what's the definition?
The act of working together to achieve a goal.
Could you repeat the first definition?
A statue or other structure built in remembrance of a person or an event. All right, folks, what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of go through some of these different monuments up on the board. And I'm going to do the lights here. I need the lights turned on back there, please. We'll give ourselves enough lights that we can see. There's a switch. There we go. All right. So as part of our classroom activity, we're going to go through some different landmarks. We'll go through some different monuments or landmarks. Our first one, I want you to write these down. The first one is going to be the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. Where is this one located? Some of you can see it. Where is this one located? Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. For those of you that can't quite tell, these are people down here. This is how tall this monument is. Take a moment, and I want you to kind of jot down some ideas here. I want you to put down the word purpose. Purpose. And I want you to kind of answer the question, what's the purpose of this monument? So take a brief second or two, jot it down. You can do it in a complete sentence. What's the purpose of this monument? want you to write down whether or not this is man-made or something that nature created. Might seem ridiculous to some people, but some of you are like, why? Why is that ridiculous? I don't know. And lastly, what I want you to do is I want you to write down what the possible emotional responses could be to this. What could some emotional responses be to this monument? How might you feel about this monument? Yes, sir. Is it man-made or nature-made? All right. So let me go through this really quick. This statue is part of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. It shows King standing with his arms crossed as he gazes off into the distance. As the inscription on the side of the statue reads, "I was a drum major for justice, peace, and righteousness." The monument of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it stands measuring over 30 feet high, and it shows King looking toward the horizon. Part of the monument includes quotations from King's sermons and his speeches. We'll move on to the next one here. This is our work-through portion. So I want you to kind of jot down these things. See how it compares to yours. The purpose. Well, the purpose of it was built to honor King's accomplishments in achieving equal rights for citizens regardless of race or color. It's a reminder of the importance of his goals. So again, I'll read that one more time for you. It was built to honor King's accomplishments in achieving equal rights for all citizens regardless of race or color. It's a reminder of the importance of his goals. How many of you, by raising hands, had something similar to that? It doesn't have to be word for word, but something similar. Okay. Construction. Was this human-made or man-made? Or human-made or nature-made?
Human.
Yeah, this would be a human-made thing. Now, some people could get really analytical and say, but the rock was made out of nature. It's true. That's true. But this is a human-made construction. And some of the possible emotional responses. Maybe you felt pride. Maybe you felt hope. Anybody else have a good word that they had for emotional responses? Yes, sir.
Happy.
Happy. Yes?
Joy.
Joy. Yes? Confidence. That's a good one.
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic. All right. We are going to move on to the next one. We're just kind of doing some quick little ones here as we move through, and then you're going to get a chance to do one by yourself. So our next monument, and yes, you want to write this down, is the Paul Revere statue, located in Boston, Massachusetts. Boston. Got a statue here. Paul Revere. Yeah.
You mentioned something in the beginning about funding.
Yes, we'll get there. MASSACHUSETTS. All right. So same questions. What's the purpose of the Paul Revere statue? Is it human-made, man-made? Is it something that nature created? And lastly, what type of emotions, what type of emotional response do you get from this? As you're kind of jotting stuff down, I'll read through this. This is the Paul Revere statue located in a park in Boston. The statue shows Revere riding on his horse, his right arm outreached as he makes his historic ride. Anybody know what he yelled as he was making his ride?
My name is Paul.
Yes, sir.
Across the country.
No. Good guess, though. The British are coming. All right, let's see. I'll read through this. The monument of Paul Revere, a patriot of the American Revolution in 1775. Revere rode his horse from Boston to Lexington, Massachusetts, a distance of about 11 miles, to warn his countrymen that the British Army was approaching. The statue shows Revere in the midst of his famous ride. Today, it is one of the most recognized landmarks in all of Boston. All right, so let's see what some people have here in comparison to what we have on the board. Let's see. So we're going to go our work through here. The purpose. Well, this was built to honor Paul Revere's role in the American Revolution. His role, which gained his role in the American Revolution helped because America gained its independence from Great Britain. And it stands as a symbol for freedom, courage, even though that's spelled incorrectly, and strength. It's built to kind of bring attention to the fact that he was a large part of the American Revolution, at least in the Boston area. Is this man-made or nature-made? Yeah, this one's man-made. You can tell because nature rarely ever puts out bronze figures that look quite like that. Possible emotional responses. Perhaps you feel patriotism. Perhaps you feel pride. Yes.
You could feel fascination as well.
Fascination. Maybe you want to learn more. Yes, sir.
Heroic.
Heroic.
Nationalism.
Kind of like that pride in one's nationality.
Nationalism.
Nationalism. Yes. Would that be a monument or a landmark? Well, what was our definition for a monument? And what's our landmark? Does it have to be one or the other? It probably could be both. Say it's built as a monument. At some point, though, does it become a landmark?
Yeah.
That's something to consider. Good question. We're moving on to our third one. The Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. The Mount St. Helens Volcanic National Monument. This one's going to be located in Castle Rock, Washington. Not Washington, D.C., not the District of Columbia, but Washington, the state located on the far west northern side of the 48 continuous states in our United States. Pacific Ocean bounded. Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument. I'll give you a big hint here too. You can't tell by the steam that's coming out of the center. At one point, see how there's this big old crater mark here that's like cut out? That wasn't missing at one point. This came all the way across. Some of you are like, that's what a volcano does, Mr. Akins, it explodes. So same thing, we're going to dive into the same thing. We are going to do one, what's the purpose of this? Two, is this man-made or is this something that nature created? Three, what kind of emotions do you feel looking at it? As you're doing that, I'll read through. This picture shows Mount St. Helens from a distance, releasing a plume of smoke from the central part of the volcano. This particular monument is part of the United States National Monument that includes a region surrounding Mount St. Helens, an active volcano. Mount St. Helens last erupted in 1980, causing a great deal of destruction in the area. Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument in Castle Rock, Washington. Yes. What? Yes. Yes, it would. As our work through on this one, the purpose of the Mount St. Helens National Volcanic Monument was to create a preserve. And that preserve is to preserve the mountain and the surrounding land around that natural site. It also allows it to be studied by researchers. The monument also serves as a reminder about the damage caused by the eruption. I'll ask, even though it's up on the board, is this a natural site or is this a man-made site?
Natural.
This would be a natural site. Now, the preserving area that we've kind of marked off and said, we're not going to build anything else in here, or we're not going to, move animals out or anything like that. That has man influences or human influences, but the actual monument itself, that's the monument. They might have a placard out in front that says, here's Mount St. Helens. Here's a really big volcano that exploded in 1980. But this is what we're looking at as the monument. And the purpose, we've covered. The man-made or nature, we've covered. The possible emotional responses, they have awe, that you're just looking at it, not like, aw, but like, wow. Awe, that you're awe-inspired. You're almost at a lack of words. And wonder. Wow. Wonder. Wonder how massive that thing actually is. Wonder what it felt like when it exploded. Wonder how many squirrels ran for cover. And you were like, that thing ain't making far. That's sad. I know, sad. All right, let's see. There's some other natural monuments like this. I mean, people have heard of one in Arizona. It's, oh, I see some hands up already. What do you think of this? The Grand Canyon. How many people have heard of the Grand Canyon? How many people have seen pictures of the Grand Canyon? Well, that's good. At least you guys have seen that. Are there things that we can look at here in the state of Michigan and say those are probably like natural monuments or natural landmarks that we can look at? How many people have been to the sand dunes over on the west side of the state? Okay. How many people have been up to the Upper Peninsula? Are there some waterfalls and stuff up there? I'm saying there's a lot of places up there that are still kind of preserved for us to go and look at. The last one here I'm going to have you do yourself. This is the Alamo Cenotaph Memorial. This is located in San Antonio, Texas. So the Alamo Cenotaph Memorial, located in San Antonio, Texas. Right now, my cousins that live in Texas would be going, that's not how we sound. You got our accent all wrong. I know. Don't mess with Texas. you to do the same thing here that you did on the other one, but I'm going to give you a quick run through on this. So this is a picture of the Alamo Cenotaph Memorial located in the Alamo Plaza in San Antonio, Texas. Its rectangular base is made of granite. The top of the base surrounding the marble top of the monument was carved showing the soldiers who defended the Alamo in 1836. This monument stands 60 feet tall. 60 feet tall. So I want you to kind of jot down your ideas for the purpose. I want you to tell me if this is human-made or a natural monument. And I want you to give me some emotional responses to this. Please jot down your answers.